Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something universal: money. Specifically, the essential vocabulary, the phrases you need to actually talk about it.
Exactly. Because whether you're just, trying to figure out groceries or maybe thinking bigger, like the stock market, you need the words.
And that's our mission today. We're taking all these sources, all this information about finance talk, and, well, making sense of it for you.
Right. Building it up from basics to banking, debt, even investing, so you feel confident jumping into those conversations.
Okay, but before we even touch dollars or euros, let's get one really fundamental thing straight, something that trips a lot of people up.
Yes. The word money itself, it's technically speaking uncountable. A mass noun?
Meaning you can't say one money or two monies.
Correct. You'd say some money or a lot of money or maybe not much money. You need those quantifiers.
But then when you talk about specific currencies,
Yeah.
dollars, pounds, yen,
Yeah.
those you can count.
Absolutely. $1, 10 euros. That distinction is, well, it's crucial. A great starting point.
Okay, grammar anchor set. Let's build from the ground up. How we handle money day to day. Section 1, spending and saving basics.
Let's start physical. Cash, the actual paper notes and coins in your hand. That's different from paying with a card or online.
Got it. And the money coming in from your job, that's typically your salary. Usually paid monthly, right?
Usually, yes. And the money going out, that's an expense. Anything you buy costs money, so it's an expense.
Which brings us to the two main actions. To either save your money, keep it for later.
Or you spend it.
Yeah.
Use it now to buy something. And those things you buy can be described simply. If something costs a lot, it's expensive. If it doesn't cost much, it's cheap. Simple words, but they're the foundation.
Okay, save, spend, cheap, expensive. But doing that without a plan sounds messy.
Exactly, which is why we need a budget. It's really just a plan for your money, where it's going to go.
And a key part of budgeting, based on what we've seen, is knowing the difference between needs and wants.
Yeah.
Right? The essential versus non-essential.
Absolutely critical. Essential expenses are the things you must pay for. Think rent, food, basic utilities. You can't really avoid them.
And non-essential expenses.
Those are the extras. Movies, maybe fancy coffee, the latest gadget, things you want, but, well, you could live without if you had to.
Okay, but sometimes that line feels blurry. Like, I need a car for work. Is that essential, even if it's a, slightly nicer car than basic?
Good question. That's the nuance. The transportation itself might be essential, but the specific fancy car, maybe that part leans non-essential. The language helps us think about that choice.
Right. Let's see it in action. There was that simple example dialogue, Anna and John.
Yeah, perfect illustration. Anna asks John, "Can I borrow $3 just for a sandwich?"
John says, sure, he has the cash. But he's specific. I can lend it to you, but you have to pay me back tomorrow.
See? In that tiny exchange. Borrow, lend, cash, payback. 4 key terms. Super common in daily life.
Okay, that makes sense.
Girl.
Which leads us nicely into actually using money out in the world. Shopping, paying bills. Section 2.
Transactions. When you're buying something, you need to know the price.
Standard questions like, how much does this cost? Or maybe just, what's the price?
And if you think that price is a bit high,
Then you might ask, do you have anything cheaper? Or you look for that magic word.
discount or sale. Everyone loves those. Means the price is lower than usual.
Once you buy it, you get a piece of paper, a receipt, sometimes called a bill, showing what you paid.
And if you paid with, say, a $20 bill for something that costs $15,
They give you back the change, the $5 difference in cash.
there was that good example. Someone looking at a jacket, it's $50.
Right. And the customer says something like, $50 is a bit expensive. Then maybe asks, is there a discount? Or any chance of a better price if I pay cash?
Perfect. Using the terms naturally. Now, besides shopping, there are those regular payments, bills.
Us, yes. Electricity bill, water bill, internet bill, rent. The phrasing's usually pretty direct, isn't it?
Very. I need to pay my electricity bill. Or, did you pay the rent yet? Maybe, can I pay this online? Straightforward stuff.
Interesting little note in the sources about US versus UK phrasing here.
Oh, yeah, the subtle difference. In the US, you might hear, "How much is this?" more often, kind of focusing on the state of the price right now.
Whereas in the UK, it might be more common to hear, how much does it cost? Focusing on the action, the transaction itself.
Exactly. Both perfectly understood, just a little regional flavor.
Okay, so bills are paid, shopping's done. Now, where do we keep all this money? Section 3. Getting a bit more formal. Banking and finance at work.
Right. The center of this is your bank account. And there are 2 main things you do with it at the bank. or an ATM or cash machine, as they say in the UK,
You either put money in
which is a deposit, or you take money out.
or withdrawal. Simple enough. But the cards, that's important. Debit versus credit.
Crucial distinction. A debit card pulls money directly from your bank account, your own funds.
But a credit card, that's different. You're actually borrowing money, aren't you?
Precisely. It's like a mini ongoing loan from the card company. You spend their money and you have to pay it back later. That's how you can get into debt with them.
Okay, let's switch over to work. We mentioned salary earlier, usually monthly pay. But what about wages?
Good question. Wages are often calculated differently. Think hourly or maybe daily work. And they're often paid more frequently, maybe weekly.
Is it just how often you get paid?
Not entirely. There's often a cultural or historical association too. Salary often implies a professional or administrative role, maybe one that doesn't get overtime. Wages can be more associated with manual labor or hourly work. It's a subtle distinction, but it's there.
Gotcha. And if you're doing well at your job, hopefully you get a raise.
Yes, a raise is an increase in your regular salary or wage, or maybe sometimes you get a one-off payment, a bonus for good performance or hitting targets.
Now, talking about how much someone earns can be tricky, culturally sensitive.
Very much so, depends where you are. But the sources mention a common, slightly more casual way to ask without being too direct.
We'll just
Something like, do you make good money in your job? It gets the idea across, are you well paid, without asking for a specific number.
make good money. Okay, noted. So you're making good money, hopefully, but maybe you also have some debts to manage. This feels like a good transition to Section 4, the more complex stuff like debt, borrowing, and investing.
Yeah, let's slow down a bit here. The language gets denser. First up, debt. That's just any money you owe to someone else, whether it's a friend or a bank.
And if it's a formal arrangement with a bank, that's a loan.
Correct. And there's a very specific type of loan, usually the biggest one people take out, for buying property. That's a mortgage.
That word mortgage. There was a fascinating point about its origin, something about death.
It comes from Old French. Mortgage literally means dead pledge. The idea was the pledge, the claim on the property, dies or ends only when the debt is fully repaid. Or, grimly, if the borrower couldn't pay, the pledge on their property became dead to them. It really highlights the seriousness of the commitment.
Wow. Dead pledge. That makes you think. And these loans, they come with an extra cost, right?
Absolutely. Interest. That's the fee the bank charges you for letting you use their money. It's usually a percentage of the amount you borrowed.
And understanding interest is vital because it can really add up, especially if it compounds.
Exactly. Compound interest means you pay interest not just on the original loan amount, but also on the interest that's already built up. High interest debt can become a real burden quickly.
Okay, this feels like the perfect time to revisit those two tricky verbs. Borrow and lend. Let's nail this down.
Right. Simple way to remember. If money is coming towards you, you borrow. Can I borrow $10?
And if money's going away from you to someone else.
You lend. Sure, I can lend you $10. And the person who borrowed has the obligation to pay it back or repay it?
Borrow to me, lend from me. Got it. Okay, so once debt is hopefully under control, people start thinking about making their money grow. Investment.
Yes. Investment is basically using your money to buy assets, things you hope will increase in value or generate income over time.
Like buying parts of companies.
Exactly. Those are called stocks or shares. You own a tiny fraction of that company.
It sounds a bit risky buying individual stocks.
It can be. That's why many people prefer mutual funds. Think of it like pooling your money with lots of other people. A professional manager then takes that big pool of money and buys a whole mix of different stocks or other assets.
So it spreads out the risk automatically.
Precisely. It's instant diversification. And all the different investments you own, stocks, funds, bonds, maybe property collectively, that's your portfolio.
Your portfolio.
Okay?
And when you look at investments, you're weighing up the potential gain versus the chance of loss.
Yes. You assess the risk, the chance you might lose money. You hope for a profit, making money, rather than a loss. The money you gain is your return.
And to manage that risk.
You diversify. Spread your money across different types of investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as the saying goes.
Okay, last two big terms for markets. Bull and bear.
Right. A bull market is when prices are generally going up and investors feel optimistic. Think charging ahead like a bull.
And a bear market.
Prices are generally falling, sentiment is negative. Think hibernating or retreating like a bear. Knowing those helps you understand financial news headlines.
Phew, okay. That was dense but crucial. Now let's move from the technical to something a bit more colorful. Section 5. Idioms and expressions.
Ah, yes, these really bring the language to life. They show you understand the culture of money talk, not just the definitions.
Like the absolute classic, time is money, meaning your time is valuable, don't waste it.
Or that phrase parents love, money doesn't grow on trees. A reminder that earning money takes effort.
And we have some great ones for when things are really expensive.
Oh yeah, something might cost an arm and a leg, just incredibly pricey.
Or maybe buying it would break the bank,
Yeah.
use up all your money.
And if you feel you paid way too much, maybe you got ripped off, you had to pay through the nose for it.
We also use color for financial health, right? Red and black.
Exactly. If you owe money or your account is overdrawn, you're in the red. Comes from accountants historically using red ink for losses.
And if you have money, a positive balance.
You're in the black. Black ink for profits.
What about when people are just scraping by?
You might say they're living on a shoestring, meaning with very, very little money. They're probably working hard just to make ends meet, earning only enough to cover the basic bills.
And the person earning the main income for a family.
Traditionally, they bring home the bacon, an old but still common phrase. Oh, and one more, cash is king, meaning having actual money readily available is powerful.
These idioms are great. They pack so much meaning. Okay, let's bring all this together in our final section, Section 6, Practical Application Habits and Goals. How does this language affect our choices?
Well, a lot of financial advice uses these terms. The main goal for most people should be to live within your means.
Meaning, don't spend more money than you earn.
Exactly. The opposite, living beyond your means, constantly spending more than you make, is how people rack up serious debt.
And if you realize you have been overspending, you might need to cut back.
Yes, you'd have to tighten your belt. It's a common way to say you need to reduce expenses for a while.
So all this vocabulary, budgeting, saving, understanding debt, investing, even the idioms, it helps you define your goals.
Absolutely. Are you saving for a car, investing for retirement? Just trying to get your essential and non-essential spending sorted out? The language helps you plan and track it all.
Which leads to that final piece of wisdom. A penny saved is a penny earned, meaning saving money is just as valuable as earning it.
A perfect summary of why mindful spending and saving matter.
So we've gone from basic cash and change right through to mortgages, interest, managing a portfolio, and understanding market moods. You should now feel much more equipped for, well, pretty detailed money conversations in English.
Definitely. And to leave you with something to think about using these concepts, imagine you're working really hard just to make ends meet each month. You also have a high-interest loan, maybe credit card debt, which should be your priority. Paying extra towards that costly interest or trying to start a small investment portfolio, maybe trying to diversify with a few stocks.
That's a tough one. What do the insights suggest?
The general wisdom pulled from the material is pretty clear. That high interest on your debt is a guaranteed loss, often a significant one. The potential return on a small, risky investment is uncertain. So tackling that high-interest debt first usually makes more financial sense before you start trying to build a portfolio.
Right. Pay off the sure thing costing you money before chasing uncertain gains. Something important for all of us to consider in our own financial planning.